We were getting somewhere, then we weren't, then we were getting somewhere, then we weren't. Clogged ducts, the potential of mastitis. Absolutely have to. Yeah, and that's how I felt on the inside. All with some boob milk. Hi everybody, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Crystal Bay, and today we are going to be talking about weaning. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the surprising. And by weaning, I'm talking about like weaning from breastfeeding. So like the process of your kid no longer breastfeeding and what that means for your boobs and your health and for them. So I don't know. This information was very new to me as I experienced it firsthand. And I wish that there was more information about it. So I thought that I would just make something about it. And yeah, I don't know. Let's just get into it. So I did go on TikTok to kind of explore different weaning methods because I knew at a certain point that she wasn't really eating for nutrition. She was just eating for comfort, which was fine. But after a prolonged period of time of her just eating for comfort, I was like, all right, girl, I kind of want to hold on to these nutrients for myself a little bit. And it was starting to have like just little effects here or there on my just like overall strength and body and what have you. So, you know, I just decided, okay, well, let's begin weaning. Now, our weaning journey actually went on for months. And it was kind of a roller coaster of we were getting somewhere, then we weren't, then we were getting somewhere, then we weren't. So I'm gonna just kind of talk about like the different methods. Hey, babe. I learned this on TikTok. So you have the apple cider vinegar method where you can put like apple cider vinegar or hot sauce or salt or just anything that is foul tasting on your nipples so that when they go to feed, they are repulsed by it and, you know, they don't want to do it. Now, I did do the apple cider vinegar method. I didn't do like any of the other stuff because I thought that like hot sauce would be very harsh. But the first time I tried it, it worked a little bit to the point where she was like, no, no. But then I was like, okay, cool. But she had gotten just like so tired that she just kind of ignored it and, you know, went and lashed and got the milk anyway. So I was like, okay. But I put that like in the back of my mind that she didn't like the apple cider vinegar. So yeah. So we did that, and that was like our little toe dip into it. And so after that, we kind of, or excuse me, during this time, we were also doing the dropping a feeding method where you kind of like drop feedings incrementally to, you know, where they're only at like 1 or 2 a day or what have you. So we were doing that, and that was kind of ebbing and flowing, whatever. And so then I was like, okay, this isn't necessarily working, so maybe let's go back to the apple cider vinegar. When I went back to the apple cider vinegar method, since she had already experienced it once and kind of like gotten past the initial like bleh of it, it did not work again. And so I was like sitting there, you know, just like putting the apple cider vinegar on for it to not work. She would come up, sniff around a little bit and be like, girl, please. And so then that didn't work. I was like, okay. So now at this point, we have to take more drastic measures. Another thing that I learned about was like the Band-Aid method, where you kind of like put Band-Aids over your nipples to where they can't see them, like flesh-colored Band-Aids to where they can't see them, and then they just get really confused. So I kind of did that for like nighttime feedings because she would just really eat through the night just for no reason, just because it was there and just because of like the comfort. Yeah, you did. Yeah. And just because of the comfort. So I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this because I need to be able to toss and turn and flip and lay on my, like, you know, I need to be able to sleep the way that I want to sleep, you know? So that leads us to the method that we ended up like having to adopt, which was the cold turkey. I don't recommend it. I absolutely don't recommend it because it was brutal. So one day on a Tuesday, I woke up and I was just like, okay, we're done. We're just gonna call it because I need to start sleeping better. She needs to start sleeping better without being like so heavily dependent on the boob. And I just, yeah, and I just wanted a certain level of strength back and like to, you know, hold on to the nutrients that I was consuming. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna stop it cold turkey and see how it goes. So basically with that, you just kind of deny them. And there's a lot of crying. There's a lot of throwing of the body. There's a lot of like wailing, this whole thing. It's a lot of them asking for it and then you feeling bad because, you know, you really just have to like hold your ground and stand firm. And then they just get the most pitiful little faces. And oh, but yeah, so that's what we ended up doing. We did that for 2 days. And then on the second day, she stopped asking. And so I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Now, she handled it really, really well. She only really like threw a big fit on the first day. The second day, she had stopped asking for it. And she was sleeping really good at night. I would just, you know, cuddle with her extra and, you know, do back pats and like all that stuff. So she took to it really, really well. Me, on the other hand, I suffer. I suffered. This is why I don't recommend it if you don't absolutely have to. Yeah, and that's how I felt on the inside because my boobs were so engorged. So this is what happens. I wrote down a list. Engorgement, clogged ducts, the potential of mastitis. You can get a fever, chills, body aches. I had like this lingering headache. And then, so I've spoken about this before on my channel, but one moment, okay? One moment, okay? But I've had like pelvic floor issues. So with the weaning and like the hormonal, just like being like my hormones just being flipped on their head so instantly from the cutting it off cold turkey, my pelvic floor really, really started affecting me again. And when I did research, it was because they say a lot of the hormones that are present in pregnancy, when you're weaning off of breastfeeding, they come back. So like a lot of the relaxin and whatever it is that like happens with your ligaments and all of the stuff down in your groin, it starts to flare up again because all of the hormones are reactivated for that period of time. So I had crazy pelvic floor issues. I was having like abdominal cramping, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I don't know. I'm not trying to like scare anybody, but I do want you to be informed because I was not informed that all of this was going to happen. I got a crazy fever that lasted for like 3 days. I was really out of commission. And I thought that I was like handling the engorgement piece pretty well until it translated over into that. So the first 2 or 3 days, it was just kind of like the engorgement, which is really, really painful. But you can give yourself a little relief if you hand express, which I just had to break down and do. Some sources say do not hand express, don't like give any stimulation at all, and just like do the Tylenol, do the pain meds. But I just couldn't do that. It was just so severe and so painful. So I did a little bit of hand expressing with the engorgement, and I thought that I was managing pretty okay. But then the fever came, and I was like, oh Lord, I hope this isn't mastitis, because I've heard that like mastitis could go septic and like be a life-threatening situation. Oh, but some boob milk. So I was like, Lord, I hope this isn't mastitis. And thank God it wasn't, because, you know, I was able to like hand express and get some of it out. So like my ducts didn't end up clogging, thank God. But the fever and all of that, it was horrible. I don't recommend it. I don't know. I guess I'm just telling you guys so that you can be informed and that you can be better prepared, because I was not prepared. Yes, we can get you some water now. I think I'm done. Do you have anything else you want to say? Huh? Do you miss the boob? Do you miss it? Or are you good with your food now? Like just food and waddy and juice and little milks and stuff? Yeah. Yeah. You heard it here first. She's all set. I'm all set. We finally got over the hump. Now I will say she's been asking for it a little bit here recently after like a few weeks of not having any, so I don't really know what that's about, but I've just been like kind of ignoring it a little bit. But yeah. Y'all, good luck out here in these weaning streets, because I was not prepared for the mean streets of weaning. Yeah. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, share with other moms in your network. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, please. I would love if you would join my community. I talk about like mom stuff here and there, but mostly like faith-based lifestyle content and things. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.